Good day and welcome once again. Thanks for joining me on this video. So this is my fourth video that I'm uploading now. I enjoyed quite a lot and I had some good response on the previous videos that was uploaded. The project that I will be doing today is I would like to build another mallet. I've built one before, assembly mallet. I would like to have a little bit of smaller mallet than this. So this one you can see is constructed from some kiat here on the side. The centerpieces of this mallet is matumi wood, and then the handle is it's a sandwiched two pieces of bird's eye maple on top of a piece of kiat. So the mallet that I would like to build today will be a little bit smaller than this mallet. The woods that I would be using in the handle, I still got some of this wood left from when I assembled this hammer. So I'm going to use the same type of handle for that hammer. The head of the hammer I will be constructing the centerpiece. I will using African rosewood for that, and on the side I will like to use some buffalo thorn wood. So the buffalo thorn wood is native of South Africa, Namibia, Mozambique and Botswana. It's not growing in the Western Cape. You won't find it there on the coastal areas of Mozambique or close to the coast on Namibia as well. And then the African rosewood, you will find that in DRC, Zambia, Botswana and Zimbabwe. It's also both of those woods are nice woods to work with. They machine quite easily. They've got a little bit of a blunting effect on your tools, a little bit more excessive than normal hardwood species would be, but it's lovely wood to work with, and they cut really smooth and really nice. So yeah, I hope you will enjoy this video, and thanks for joining me once again. If you like the video, please click the like button at the bottom. Also, happy Easter to everybody out there. I hope you enjoy these special times with your families. The circumstances is a bit difficult, and yeah, please enjoy it and stay safe, and I hope you enjoy the video. So this is a piece that's left of the handle of the previous mallet that I've built. So it's the bird's eye maple that's sandwiched on top of a piece of kiat. It's quite beautiful wood, and it's very strong. So I'm going to use this piece of offcut to build the handle from. This would be enough. And then yes, the rosewood you've seen in the previous video of the cutting board. And then this is a piece of rough sawn thornwood that I talked about, the buffalo thornwood. So the easiest way to start with a mallet is I went on the computer and I've drawn out the templates to the size I want to manufacture all the parts. So the wood is roughly cut, and the paper templates, I've cut them out of the piece of paper, so we're just going to stick them like this. There's a small knot on the other side of the wood, but that doesn't matter. When we cut it in half, that knot would be in the center of the hammerhead, so that won't be a problem. Start cutting the templates out on the bandsaw. I just use normal stick glue. Can be removed easily. So to get a little bit of more weight into the head of the hammer, I'm going to try something different. So the previous one I've drilled some holes into these center pieces of the mallet, and I've put some 9mm bullets to add some weight on the head. So what I'm going to do now, I've cut a piece of aluminium pipe. So now I'm going to melt some lead and try to cast a little round weight that I want to put in the hammerhead. So let's see if my propane torch is strong enough to melt the lead. Looks like it's working. So the lead is melted now. I'm going to try to cast it here at the bottom. Move the camera. I'm not sure if this aluminium is going to melt. Perfect. I think that should be enough. Perfect, perfect. Let's take a little bit of compressed air slowly and just cool it down. You see it's already loose inside the mold. Reason for that is as the lead cools down it shrinks and then it comes loose from the mold. Alright, so now how does the height look? Yeah, this is perfect. So now we have our two weights that we're going to add to the head of the mallet. So all the components of the hammerhead is rough cut, and the holes are drilled for the lead inserts. They came out quite nicely. So this is all the components for assembly of the head of the hammer. So we've got the two sides, we've got the insides. Here's our two weights to add some weight to the head of the hammer. So they fit nice and snug in there. And this is the other side. So let's start gluing the head together and wait for the glue to dry. We can start finishing on the head and then we go to the handle. So I'm using a white PVA water-based glue. The rosewood and the thornwood takes PVA glue quite well. It's not a lot of natural oils in the wood. Also the pieces of lead, you can fix the pieces of lead with some epoxy to secure them a bit and make the head of the hammer a bit stronger, but I'm just going to use normal wood glue to secure the lead weights. I think it should be sufficient. Keeping in mind this, normally this assembly mallets is not used for very hard hammering work, so this wood glue should be perfect. So I'm going to give every piece of lead just a good squirt of glue. So I just put some glue in the pockets with the lead to secure them a little bit, so that they don't rattle around when you use the mallet. I think it should be sufficient. And then when this is busy drying, we can start with the finishing of the handle. So when we're done with the handle, I think this head should be dry and we can remove this from the clamps and go to the final assembly. Right, you see I have a nice squeeze out on all the edges. So let's leave it like this up until it's dry. So when the glue has dried a little bit, on the inside of this hole where the handle goes in, you see there's a little bit of glue in the corners. So it's a good idea to remove this glue squeeze out when the glue is still wet, so that you can have a good fit on your handle. So I'm just taking a chisel. So when you set up your roundover bit in your router, the bottom edge of your roundover bit should be the same height as your table. Perhaps a little bit lower than your table. But to check it, you can take a piece of wood and you move it over that tip. And it's not supposed to move the router bit at all. You will see if I get a bit further down, now my router bit is moving, it's catching in the radius now. But if I move to the point, it's not touching. So this is the correct way to set up a roundover bit, to use the full radius of your router bit. Always test the roundover bit on a little piece of scrap wood to ensure that your setup is done before you go to your final piece. So here you can see you have a perfect radius. So let's start cutting the radius on the handle. I don't want to start at the beginning. I just want to start the router bit a little bit, let's say 10 millimeters from the edge. So to give us a nice start and a finish here on the top. We had a little bit of router burn where we started, but we'll sort that out with a piece of sandpaper. Handle came out nice, and it's got a real nice grip to it. So I've got a small piece of wood for the wedge for the handle. I just want to get it on the right size. So you just put the small taper on the edge so that it goes a little bit easier into the slot. So I removed the head from the clamps. It's quite heavy. I think it's going to be a really nice mallet. So let's just do the final sanding and finish off all the corners, and then we can do the final fitment of the handle. So there's not a lot of finishing left on the handle. It fit quite nicely into the mallet, and we can just do the final sanding on the head. I want to finish it till about 220 grit, so that we have a nice shine on it. Then I want to put my maker's mark in, and also I want to put a 45 chamfer on all the edge right around the hammer. So perhaps we can start with the chamfer salon. Let's take the scrap wood and just push it. Ja, goed. So for the final sanding, I'm just wetting the wood a little bit for the grain to lift up, and then one quick final sanding. And the finish that I want to put on here will be Danish oil. Any oil will be good for tools, but the one that I have is Danish oil. can feel the wood, it's really rough again. So all that small grains have lifted up, so when you do a final sanding now, it's really silky smooth. So just leave it a little bit to dry. So I'm getting close to the end product. So the handle fits in really nice and snug. It's always important to make sure that there's very little space between the handle and the head. Also here on the sides you can see it's a really nice, tight and snug fit on the handle. So what I'm going to do, another extra thing on this mallet is I want to add a little bit of leather on the surfaces that you will be using. So mostly this mallet is going to be used to assembly woodworking parts or furniture or things like that. So if you need to tap something into place, it's always a good thing to use a mallet for that. If you put a little bit of leather on the side, it will protect your workpiece against any dents or any damage. The leather is not as good as the bare wood when you use the mallet to drive a chisel, but I do very little carving with a chisel. And I also got my big mallet that I can also use to drive my chisels with. So let's put the little pieces of leather on the side. We can put in the wedge, we can put the maker's mark on, then we can finish it with oil. So I have a piece of vegetable tan leather. It's nice and thick. I think this one is about 3.5 millimeters thick. So you can just, I'm just going to trace it out by hand. I'll cut it roughly. So to glue this on, I'm going to use a little bit of contact adhesive. So now it's time to fit the handle. The leather edges here came out quite nicely. I'm very pleased with that. I think it will be a good assembly hammer this. So now it's time to fit the handle to the head. Important note is when you fit a handle to a hammerhead, or the right term is to call it you hang a hammer, is to put a little bit of boiled linseed oil on the end of the grains here, and also on your wedge that you're going to be driving into that cavity there. So the boiled linseed oil will be absorbed by the wood, and that will make the wood grains to expand. So with that you will have a more snug fit to your handle, and also the boiled linseed oil dries, and when the oil is dry the wood will not go back to its natural shape again. So you will sit with a head on the hammer that it's very likely that it will ever come loose. It's nice and snug now. So I just want to finish this up nicely. I want to put a 45. It seals the wood, it feeds the wood, prevents it from drying out. You can put that on the leather as well. Look at that beautiful finish. So the mallet is finished now. It came out really beautiful. The oil that I've put on there, I will put a few extra layers on. So normally the rule of thumb is when you put oil on wooden tools is you will do it once a day for 7 days. Then you will do it once a month for 12 months, and after that once a year, or up until you see the wood doesn't take the oil anymore. Then you know the wood is properly sealed. So thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you on the next project. Bye bye.